Some moments arrive disguised as ordinary gestures. A simple embrace that feels different, warmer, more desperate, like the universe is whispering secrets through someone's arms. That Tuesday morning started like any other. Coffee brewing in the Dutz kitchen, sunlight streaming through our apartment windows, and the familiar sound of Marcus humming while getting ready for work. We'd been together for 3 years, living in that cozy 2-bedroom place on Maple Street, the kind of apartment that felt like home the moment we signed the lease. Marcus had this habit of hugging me goodbye every morning. Not just a quick peck on the cheek or a casual wave. A real hug. Arms wrapped tight, his chin resting on my shoulder, holding me like he was memorizing the moment. I used to tease him about it, calling him my clingy boyfriend. But secretly, I loved it. In a world that moved too fast, those morning hugs were our anchor. I remember everything about that morning with painful clarity. The way the autumn air felt crisp against my skin when I opened the balcony door to water my plants. The sound of our neighbor, Mrs. Chen, arguing with someone on the phone in the apartment below. The smell of bacon drifting up from the breakfast place on the corner. Marcus was running late for his presentation at the marketing firm where he worked. He'd spent weeks preparing for it. Charts, graphs, rehearsing his pitch in the mirror, until I knew it by heart. This was his chance for the promotion he'd been chasing, the one that would finally let us start planning our future together. He grabbed his coffee, his laptop bag, his keys. The morning routine we'd performed hundreds of times. But then he stopped. Right there in the hallway, with his hand on the doorknob, he turned back to look at me. "Come here," he said, his voice softer than usual. I was still in my pajamas, hair messy, probably looking like I'd been dragged through a hedge. "You're already late, babe. Go knock 'em dead." But he didn't leave. Instead, he dropped his bag and walked back to me with this intensity in his eyes I'd never seen before. Like he was seeing me for the first time, or maybe the last time. "I need to hug you," he said, and there was something urgent in his voice that made my heart skip. "Marcus, what's wrong?" "Nothing's wrong. I need to hug you. Really hug you." So I let him. And God, it was different from all the other morning hugs. His arms wrapped around me like he was trying to shield me from something I couldn't see. He buried his face in my neck, and I could feel his breath warm against my skin. He held me so tight I could barely breathe, but I didn't want him to let go. "I love you, Sarah," he whispered. "I love you so much it scares me sometimes." "I love you too. But seriously, you're freaking me out a little. What's this about?" He pulled back just enough to look at my face, his hands still on my shoulders. "Promise me something. Anything. If something ever happens, if we're ever apart and you're scared or in trouble, remember this moment. Remember that I loved you enough to be late for the most important meeting of my career, just to hold you one more time." I laughed, trying to lighten the mood. "You're being dramatic. Nothing's going to happen." He kissed my forehead, long and soft. "Maybe not, but promise me anyway. I promise." He grabbed his things and left, but not before turning back one more time to blow me a kiss. I watched from the window as he got in his car and drove away, that strange conversation already fading as I got ready for my own day. 23 seconds later, the gas leak in the apartment below exploded. The sound wasn't like anything you hear in movies. It wasn't a dramatic boom or a cinematic crash. It was more like the world being torn in half. A deep, guttural roar that seemed to come from the earth itself. The floor beneath my feet buckled. The windows shattered. And suddenly, everything was fire. I remember thinking, with that strange clarity that comes in moments of absolute terror, that I was going to die in my pajamas. The flames were already licking at the bedroom door, and smoke was filling the apartment faster than I could process what was happening. But then I heard Marcus's voice in my head. remember this moment. The hug. The desperate way he'd held me. The look in his eyes like he was trying to memorize my face, like he knew. Somehow that memory cut through my panic. I dropped to the floor, crawled to the balcony, and screamed for help. The fire department later said I had maybe 30 seconds before the smoke would have overcome me. 30 seconds between life and death. Marcus's phone rang while the paramedics were checking me over. I could hear him shouting on the other end when they told him what happened. He broke every speed limit getting back to me, arrived before they'd even finished loading the last victim into the ambulance. When he saw me sitting there, covered in soot but alive, he fell to his knees right there on the sidewalk. Just dropped, like someone had cut his strings. "How did you know?" I asked him later, when we were sitting in the hospital waiting room. My hand bandaged from broken glass, his arm around my shoulders. He was quiet for a long time. "I didn't know, exactly. I woke up this morning and couldn't shake this feeling that I needed to hold you. Really hold you. Like it might be the last time. That's impossible. Is it?" He looked at me with those same intense eyes from the morning. My grandmother used to say that love makes you psychic. That when you care about someone enough, your soul learns to sense when they're in danger. I wanted to argue with him, to chalk it up to coincidence or subconscious observation, or any of the rational explanations my logical mind was offering. But I couldn't. Because the truth was, that hug had saved my life. Not just the extra time it gave Marcus to get away from the building, but the way it anchored me in the moment when everything else was chaos. The investigation later revealed that the gas leak had been building for days. Mrs. Chen's argument, that morning? She'd been on the phone with the gas company, complaining about a smell. The maintenance crew was supposed to check it that afternoon. 1 second earlier, Marcus might have still been in the building. 1 second later, I might not have had his words to guide me through the smoke. In the months that followed, as we rebuilt our lives in a new apartment with windows that didn't shatter and floors that didn't buckle, I thought a lot about that morning. About the thin line between intuition and coincidence, between love and premonition. Marcus still hugs me goodbye every morning, but now I hug him back like I know something too. Like maybe love really does make us psychic, tuning us into frequencies we can't explain but shouldn't ignore. Sometimes the most powerful moments in our lives aren't the dramatic ones we see coming. They're the quiet ones that arrive disguised as ordinary gestures. A hug that lasts a few seconds longer than usual. A look that lingers. A feeling we can't shake. The night after the fire, as we lay in the hotel bed that would be home for the next few weeks, Marcus whispered, "I'm sorry I was almost late." "You weren't late," I whispered back. "You were exactly on time." What would you do if your heart started whispering warnings you couldn't understand? Would you listen to that voice, even when logic tells you you're being foolish? Sometimes the people we love know things before we do. Sometimes a hug isn't just a hug. It's a premonition, a prayer, a promise that love will find a way to protect what matters most. If this story moved you, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. And remember, those moments when your heart tells you to hold someone a little longer, to say "I love you" one more time, to trust the feeling you can't explain. Those aren't coincidences. Those are grace. Hit subscribe for more stories that explore the mysterious ways love protects us and the 1-second moments that change everything forever.